What's up, guys? It's been a minute, that's all right. I'm gonna get right into it. Today, we're looking at the Kalita Wave. Now, there's a bunch of different Kalita products out there, but the one that I really like, the one that I've been enjoying for a while now, is the Kalita Wave 155. Now, you may have preferences as far as ceramic versus glass versus aluminum. I think there's even a copper version out there, but that doesn't matter to me so much. I love the Kalita Wave for two reasons, and I'll tell you why. Specifically, the Kalita Wave 155 is the smaller version of the two Kalita Wave options out there. There's a Kalita Wave 185, that's a bit bigger, that has a carafe to go with that as well. And I actually really like the Kalita Wave 155, particularly for small brews. But it's not like I can't make a small brew on a V60 or even a Chemex. However, I've discovered that my consistency for great brews has a much higher hit rate for me on the smaller brewer. I think it has something to do with the grounds being kept in a more compact area versus the amount of space that's available for the grounds to shift around in something like a V60 or a Chemex. I could be wrong. It could be a couple other things at play there. All I know is, as I've used the Kalita Wave over the course of the last, I think, like 6 months or so, I've really enjoyed the coffee that I've gotten from it. The second reason is that I tend to find the Kalita Wave gives me a sweeter, often more complex brew profile. That isn't to say you can't get sweeter, more complex profiles on a V60 using different techniques. How you brew your coffee, regardless of the brew device, does matter too. There are things like osmotic flow, which I'll probably do a video about. You can find that online right now. It's an awesome way to increase body. Anyway, there's a few different popular ways to brew. The way that I brew is actually pretty similar to something like a James Hoffmann V60 brew. But just kind of scaled down a little bit quicker, and you'd expect that out of something much smaller than the typical V60. To go with the Kalita Wave 155, I actually just picked up the 300 ml or 300 gram carafe that Kalita offers, and I'd been using just the carafes I had laying around for a while, but since using the Kalita Wave 155, I've been really into the idea of like super small single serve coffee. My wife and I really do like to enjoy coffee together, but not in high amounts. I might be a coffee roaster, but I actually don't drink that much coffee. I limit my caffeine to about 200 milligrams a day sometimes. So like 2 cups of coffee. And some days I'll have 1 or even none. I don't really push my caffeine limits too hard most days. So that means I'm making really small brews, like 15 gram brews. Honestly, I love it. I love a 15 gram brew, and the Kalita Wave, the 155, makes that more than possible. I can get consistently great brews with the 155 Kalita Wave. Before we get into anything else, let's talk about what actually differentiates the Kalita Wave. And the Kalita Wave actually has these 3 holes at the bottom instead of 1 hole in the middle. Now, you might find the 1 hole in the middle with the V60 to be perfect for you, and that's awesome. Something about the way that they design this, they say, helps even out your brew process, even out your extraction. I can't disprove or prove whether that's true, but I can give you my experience to say that at these smaller brew sizes, I'm getting just as consistent results as I would with bigger brew sizes on the V60. And I know other people have had some issues with like 20 gram brews on the V60, and I do too. I feel like anything under about 25 grams is a little challenging to get consistently great results. So, 3 holes on the bottom. It allows it to kind of brew and extract evenly without kind of funneling down to a center. So I find that it is easy to work with, easy to clean, just like the V60 is easy to clean. But just the ability to make a consistently good 15 gram brew, I've even made down to an 8 gram brew without an issue. and I could probably push it down to like 6, maybe 5 grams. I'm not sure, but I will brew for you today. And I will show you just what I like about it. Let's go do that. Oh, I'm gonna need a filter. 155 filters. Don't mess that up. Don't get a 155 Kalita Wave and buy 185 filters. You want the right size filters. Now look what we have here. This is, I mean, it's just gorgeous. My kind of aesthetic anyway. Just came out of this little guy. My brew process with this is changing often. Now when I told you that my brew method for this Kalita Wave loosely is based on James Hoffman V60 method, I mean loosely. I've been playing with a couple different brew methods that involve upping my grind size a little bit, because traditionally I've kept my grind size a little low so that I can, I'm going to put the little lid that comes with this just to retain a little heat while I talk. I have on the Ode stock burrs, I believe it's the V1.1 burrs on the Gen 1 Ode. I have it set to 4, and that's what I did for this brew. I've been experimenting with 5 and 6 on that grinder with higher grind settings, so going from like medium fine to medium coarse, we'll say, and not being displeased at all. In fact, finding sometimes I'm able to pull out different properties. I'm able to get some sweetness and complexity at the medium fine setting, and traditionally I've always known a little bit finer equals a little bit sweeter, but it could be a little bit more bitter. So I've been pulling the grind size up a little bit. And for different coffees, this is going to change, in my experience anyway. With the Kalita Wave, I feel it's got leniency in that for me, I've been able to get a really pleasant brew between the medium fine to medium coarse range with some of the recent coffees I've been trying. But there's another brew method my buddy Corey made me aware of that was originated by Madcap Coffee. If you guys aren't the originators of this, I hope someone can link in the comments below or tell me who is, but they use 50-gram pulses in their pour. So they start with 50-gram bloom, and then they go 50 grams every like 15, sometimes 20, 25 seconds or so, and just going in pulses of 50 grams. I did it once, and I was happy with the brew. It wasn't too different from what I'd been doing already, though. For Corey, he did find that it helped his brews quite a bit. So I'm not sure where the difference is. We're kind of talking about it. Anyway, if you want to learn more about Corey and our relationship, we have a podcast called The Light Overtime Podcast, where we talk about photography, videography, content creation, all that fun stuff. I'll link that in the description below. Anyway, let's get to tasting this coffee, shall we? So I did a 1:16 ratio, 4 on the Ode, and we've got about 225 grams here or so. It's an Ethiopian washed. It's from the Gadeb region. Banco Gotiti is the farm. We have notes of dark chocolate, nectarine, and let me tell you, this is my 3rd roast batch, and I was dialing it in. This thing just presents nectarine like nothing else. I got it down to a really, really nice roast level where after about 7 days, the nectarine became so present and pleasant. It is a great coffee. And just how nice this thing is to hold and to look at. It's so pretty. All right, let's taste. Aroma's very sweet in the best way for this coffee. Very sweet. Yeah, just a really well-rounded coffee. Sweetness in the dark chocolate. Sweetness in that citrus. As it cools, the nectarine identifiers should be able to be picked up on. Just fantastic. That's the Kalita Wave. I've been using it for testing. Really small brews, so I don't have to dump a bunch of coffee. This is very easy for me to drink in a small setting. All in all, the Kalita Wave is an awesome system. Whether it's the 155 or the 185 or one of their older style drippers, they've got a really neat system here that is giving me great results consistently, and it's got me switching to it more often throughout the week. If you know me, you might know that I'm using the Chemex one day, doing espresso the next day, V60 another day, and then I'm reaching for the Kalita quite often when it's just me. That says something to me. It's, even if I'm not making the active decision, the thought going, the Kalita is better for this situation, it's instinct at this point, just grabbing it because it's producing for me amazing results. I hope for you it can do the same. I'll put links to everything I used in the description below. Thank you for watching this video. I know this wasn't an exact brew guide, but I'm sure you can follow along and get pretty dang close to what I did today. I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.